The first thing people noticed was not the house.
It was the baby. Every time George Burke carried his newborn son through town, men would stop talking and stare. Some shook their heads. Others looked away. A few could not hide what they were thinking because everyone in western Nebraska knew where George lived. And everyone believed that child would never survive the winter. The wind rolled across the prairie without mercy. No forests. No shelter. No hills high enough to stop the cold. Just endless grass stretching beneath a sky that seemed too large for any man to fight. George had arrived there months earlier with almost nothing. A wagon, an old mule, a pregnant wife named Martha, and $17, that was all. If you enjoy stories about ordinary people facing impossible odds, stay with me. Because what happened on that lonely stretch of prairie surprised an entire county. The summer sun beat down hard when George first reached his claim. On paper it looked impressive. Hundreds of acres. Land of his own. A chance to build a future. But standing there, he saw the truth. The land offered almost nothing. No trees. No cabin. No well. No neighbors nearby. Only wind and silence. Martha sat inside the wagon, one hand resting on her stomach. The baby would arrive before long. Winter would arrive soon after. George knew the race had already begun. Every morning before sunrise, he worked. Every evening after dark, he worked. His hands blistered. His shoulders ached. Still, the prairie gave him very little in return. The well collapsed again and again. The soil crumbled whenever he tried to dig deeper. Lumber cost more money than he could imagine. A proper house might as well have been a mansion. One afternoon, an older homesteader named Gus Decker rode onto the claim. Gus had spent years surviving the prairie. The weather had carved deep lines into his face. He studied George's empty land for several moments. Then he looked toward Martha. "You need money," he said. George nodded. "You need a real house." Another nod. Gus removed his gloves slowly. "I've seen winters out here. Take things from people they never got. Back?" The wind tugged at his coat. His eyes moved toward the wagon, then toward Martha's stomach. "Take your family back to town before the snow comes." George said nothing. Gus waited. When no answer came, he shook his head. "Then pray you're luckier than the rest of us." After that, he rode away. The words stayed behind. George felt them every time he looked at Martha. Every time he imagined holding his son for the first time. Every time he calculated the money he did not have. Days passed, then weeks. The house still did not exist. One night, after Martha had fallen asleep, George walked alone across the prairie. The sky was crowded with stars. The grass whispered in the darkness. Far from the wagon, he stopped. Not because he had found an answer, because he had run out of ideas. Then something caught his eye. Shapes near a dry,